Hello everyone, TP here, and today, okay, let's just get this over with. Thomas's frosty friend. Thomas, why are you incapable of looking downward? Can you explain that, please? Oh wait, no, because this is the hit era, nothing makes sense. For the most part. Yeah, this episode sucks hard. Like, I mean, you all know why this sucks. Like, as I said, Thomas is incapable of looking downwards. He's an absolute idiot. And he's apparently deaf, as he cannot hear a single person call out to him that there's a balloon, which is, "Hey, it's Frosty the Snowman," attached to his buffers. Wow. What? Just wow. I don't want to talk about this one. This 0 out of 10. Edward strikes out. Just like Thomas's frosty friend, this episode is absolute garbage. Yeah. Can you explain to me, why is Edward out of character? Oh, wait, again. Because... Oh my god. I seriously cannot think of words to say because of how much this season sucks and is so lifeless. Yeah, 0 out of 10. This episode sucks. I mean, you've all heard why it sucks anyway. Topped off Thomas. This isn't as bad as the 2 episodes I've talked about, but it's still awful. Like, why is Thomas talking to the wind like it's alive? Like, that is just so stupid and completely ruins, like, that just kind of ruins, like, like, that's just very unrealistic. Like, yeah, you could talk to the wind, but the wind does not hear you, Thomas. Well, I'll give the episode this. The pack scale Thomas appeared in this episode. I guess that's something. But yeah, this episode still sucks. 1 out of 10. Funny titled, though. I should mention that. But still not good. Wharf and Peace. This episode does have a great title, like Topped Off Thomas. But this episode is just horrible. Like, I guarantee that this is worse than Skarloey the Brave. And do I even need to mention, like, I don't even know what to say right now. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I like that Skarloey actually sacrifices himself before Rheneas could get damaged by the logs. I do like that, but that cannot save the episode from being so bad. And it just kind of makes me want to drip my eyeballs. 1 out of 10. Which way now? Well, we've made it to this episode, haven't we? Yeah, in all fairness, this one absolutely sucks. So bad. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this episode is, like the worst thing ever, because, for God's sakes, it isn't. But it's probably the worst Rusty episode of the entire show, period. I'm pretty sure everyone hates this episode. Well, at least most of them, depending on some people's opinion on this episode. I don't know. But it's very obvious why people hate it. 1 out of 10. Follow that flower. I can give it a pass that Thomas can't turn his head 180 degrees. But when he reverses into the shed, he can see the flower right there. Wow. Not only is Thomas's frosty friend shown to have Thomas being incapable of looking downward, this episode portrays that too. Wow. Wow. Season 10 is much worse than I thought. Yeah, Follow That Flower just sucks. 1 out of 10. The Green Controller. Percy being put in charge just sounds so dumb. Like, why would you put your dumb engine in charge? Like, oh wait, so they can have these inconsistent, like, memories. So, or should I say, oh wait, so that way Percy can't remember what can't remember what Lady Hat said and just screw everything up. I'm getting sick of these episodes. 1 out of 10. Sticky Toffee Thomas. Okay, this one wasn't as bad as I thought. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still awful, but I mean, hey, it's not a 1 out of 10 at least. But it is still awful, and quite frankly, very boring. 2 out of 10. A Smooth Ride. I have nothing to say on this one. I mean, I guess Sir Handel is okay? I mean, yeah, I don't think his characterization is that bad. But it's still not good either, because I miss the jerky Sir Handel that never learns his lesson in the end. I mean, we had that in Season 4. Man, those were good times, weren't they? 2 out of 10. Fearless Freddy. Okay, I actually do like that this episode has like a new character that's actually pretty good, but the reason why I have to put it down here is because Scarloey and Rheneas ruined the episode. Like, they're portrayed as idiotic children here. Like, I hate it. I mean, I don't want to hate this one, but I have to because of Scarloey and Rheneas specifically. I know that sounds... I know to some people that may sound kind of... I don't know what words to look for. I just don't want to talk about these bad episodes anymore. 2 out of 10. Toby's Afternoon Off. This is absolutely boring, with like Toby moping around, going to ask his friends for help on his simple tasks that he can do in just a couple hours, or an hour or two for that matter. And then he could just go and rest in his shed. Like, it's not that hard, Toby. Like, I mean, yeah, I guess I sort of understand that that some of Toby's friends would not help him. I mean, I kind of get why he would feel sad about that. But, honestly, I would mostly just not care and just move on with my job. Or task, or whatever. But yeah, this episode is just boring. I have nothing to say on it. 3 out of 10. Seeing the Sights. Thomas tries to be like Gordon, but he leaves passengers behind, and he screws up in the end. That's it. That's it. This feels like a very substanceless episode, just like Thomas's frosty friend, which I forgot to mention. But I put it in higher regards to that episode because, well, I mean, we do get the dynamic between Thomas and Gordon back again, and we get to see the dynamic between Thomas and Bertie yet again. That's something. I mean, I guess Bertie has some sort of purpose in the story, like taking Thomas's passengers to catch up to Thomas. Like, that's something we haven't seen since, like, Bertie's chase from all the way back in Season 2. At least, that's what I think That's what I think happened in the episode. Yeah, I seriously don't remember this one. 3 out of 10. Thomas and the Treasure. What is this episode exactly? I just can't wrap my head around this one. Like, Thomas has to find some buried treasure or something. I forgot what happens in this episode. Like, I mean, I guess there's that new Sodor Maritime Museum that opens. That's something, I guess. But other than that, I really do not remember this episode. 3 out of 10. Thomas and the Shooting Star. Okay, this one wasn't bad, but, I mean, like, the lighting is not that bad, at least to me anyway. The concept of this episode is actually pretty good. And I'll admit, some of the sets are also pretty good. Like that one gorge set in the episode, like, when Thomas comes across it, and yeah, all those are really good. But the problem with this one is, it's just so boring. Like, it's another typical Three Strikes Formula Thomas episode, and I feel, and I mean, what was I gonna say? What I'm trying to say is, I'm pretty sure they had to, like, I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that, like, they originally had something bigger planned for, like, the power station being further in the distance, from Thomas, when the shooting star lights up the island. Now, don't get me wrong, that is kind of ridiculous, but it actually does kind of it gives Thomas a light, to get to the power station. So that's a cool concept that I actually do not mind. But I feel they just had to simplify it, which means, like, the power station was right in front of Thomas when he got lost, or to his breaking point. Like, and the power station being right in front of him just makes Thomas feel so dumb. Like, Thomas, like, the power station's right in front of you. Did you not see that huge building in the dark? Like, I get it, it's very dark out here, but Thomas, did you not see the power station right in front of you when you got to your breaking point? But, alas, this episode is not very good. 4 out of 10. Thomas and the Birthday Mail. Need I say more? This one is one of the more nostalgic episodes of Season 10, but then again, Rosie, she's solid, I guess? I don't know, but I don't know about this episode, like, okay, what I'm trying to say is, it's kind of boring, but also kind of not that bad. And don't get me wrong, it's still not good, but I mean, it's one of the more nostalgic episodes, at least. So I'm sorry if I'm gonna have to put on a bit of bias there, but this is probably one of the more nostalgic episodes of Season 10, at least for me, anyway. But yeah, I don't have much to say on this episode, other than, Thomas is honestly alright in this one, at least, and Rosie's a solid character, even though she kind of got flanderized in, like, Season 12 or something, I don't know. And she does get used more in Season 11, but yeah, don't have much to say on this one. 4 out of 10. Thomas's Tricky Tree. Okay, is it a common thing for Thomas to steal things or in winter? Because, okay, I know it wasn't intentional, but Thomas happened to steal the children's snowman balloon because he's basically just incapable of looking downwards. And not to mention the fact that he literally takes pipes without knowing, without even checking with a workman or something, or someone. Seriously, Thomas, what is your problem in the winter? What is your problem? But other than that, this episode is kind of boring. But the crash is honestly not that bad. It was actually pretty good. But other than that, I don't have much else to say on this one. 4 out of 10. Percy and the Fun Fair. This episode was alright at best. I mean, it's another one of the nostalgic Thomas episodes of season 10. At least to me, anyway. I actually didn't really mind what Percy was trying to do. He was actually trying to help some engines, and while I do get that he just doesn't take into consideration of his own job, I really like what he tries to do, and I do like that Percy fixes his mistake at the end. I know it's a typical thing for most of these Hit Era episodes, or if not all of them, but I honestly think it's very valid here. But, it was just kind of boring, to be honest. 5 out of 10. The only 5 out of 10 on this list, honestly. Thomas and the jet plane. Alright. We make it to the first actually decent episode of Season 10. Now, this is not fully a good episode, but I like that there's like a storm in this episode, and it actually kind of tries to differentiate it from like the Three Strikes formula. If that's the case, I have no idea, I just kind of forgot about this episode. But I do know that there's like a storm in this episode, so I guess that's something. And Thomas actually helping out the children set up taking them to the hangar where they all had their picnic in there. I mean, while being a bit ridiculous to have like a plane inside, it's actually not that bad. I actually kind of liked it. So, yeah, Thomas and the jet plane wasn't that bad. 6 out of 10. Thomas and the colors. Now, I didn't like this as much as I used to, but I still think it's pretty decent. And this is something I probably should have mentioned for Follow That Flower, but because it was so bad, I just couldn't talk about it. But I really like the Thomas and James rivalry in this episode. That seems to be a real common thing in these Hit Era episodes. Too bad it was starting to be discarded of following season 11. But then it got started back again and in the Brenner seasons later, which we will talk about when we get to those seasons. But anyways, yeah, Thomas and the colors. I mean, I don't have much to say about this one, but yeah, it's pretty decent. 6 out of 10. Thomas and Skarloey's big day out. Okay. I know that people would put this lower on the list, but let me explain. I like the concept of this episode. One engine taking another engine, anyway, what I mean is, like, a standard gauge engine taking a narrow gauge engine, traveling around the railway together. That sounds like that kind of sounds like something that would be done in the 80s, like just traveling along the railway. Like, I mean, Thomas is taking Skarloey to the works, but if you just take that out of your mind and enjoy these two just talking to each other all on the journey to the work, on their journey, it actually can be quite fun. to watch. And like slap the moving right along music video onto it, and you got a really good episode. I mean, it is a good episode as it is, at least to me, but and another thing I really like about it is like the crash. Like the crash is just really good. As I mean, grass exploding, that's kind of weird, but I mean, at least the crash was actually kind of intense, at least to me anyway. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't have much else to say. Like, other than like whilst Thomas and Skarlovi are traveling, just moving right along into the episode. I mean, like a music remix, or I don't even know if that existed back in 2006, but it very well might have. I might be wrong. I don't know. I've never seen Kermit the Frog. But anyway, or sorry, the Muppets. But yeah, yeah, this is honestly the first actually good episode to me anyway. 7 out of 10. Emily and the Special Coaches. This episode I really like because it actually kind of deters from the Three Strikes formula. At least I think so. And there's this epic chase of Emily and Diesel, like with Diesel taking the coaches and Emily having to try and get them back. It's so fun to watch, and you do feel sympathetic for Diesel as he like did a shunting record, like what feels like years ago. I have no idea when he did that, but yeah, that's a nice piece of information to know. Really gotta give props to Hit there for doing that. But yeah, this episode is pretty good, I'd say. 7 out of 10. Toby's new shed. Toby's literal disability. Okay. Toby's disadvantage to just tell Toby just not telling Thomas about like why he feels the way he does is just very weird, but other than that, this episode is still good. Well, to me anyway. As Toby gets a new birdhouse next to his shed, and that pretty much remains until like the Nitrogen era or something. I don't know. I personally remember it being some sort of thing in like season 15's Big Bell, where it actually is kind of story relevant again. But other than that, that's all I kind of remember in terms of later appearances. But yeah, Toby's new shed is a nice little continuity type of episode. And I like continuity type of episodes because they stick around for a long time, if not till the end of the show. Possibly, depending on their appearances. But yeah, this one is another good one for me. 7 out of 10. James the second best. The James and Edward dynamic being subverted was actually a clever idea, and I really like what they did with it. I think the Unlucky Tug put it best. Yeah, so I suggest you go watch his review for more detail, as I actually do agree with him that this is a really good episode. 7 out of 10. It's good to be Gordon. Yes, the Gordon episode is in the good tier. Now listen, like, it's not great or anything, but I do like what they did in this episode. Or what they did with this episode, I meant. Like, Gordon's big brother side is put to full display here. Like, Gordon Gordon isn't like the pompous one in this episode this time, and I really like that his big brother side comes back into play. That's actually very sweet. It was actually very sweet of him to actually sacrifice his record just to help another engine. That was really sweet. But other than that, I don't have much to say about it. Everyone really likes this one, and again, I think the Unlucky Tug put it best in his Season 10 video. 7 out of 10. Another really good episode. Duncan drops a clanger. Yeah, okay. Let me explain why this episode is in 4th place on my list. Now, yes, I do think that the bell noise does get annoying at times. Well, at least to me anyway. I still do really like what they did with Duncan in this episode, showing that more reckless side to him, which kind of reminds me of Rock and Roll from Season 4. And other than that, I honestly don't have much to say about this one. It's another good Duncan episode. 7 out of 10. And speaking of Duncan episodes, the other one is literally right on top of this one. Duncan's Bluff. Like, okay, I really like what they did with this episode. Like, pairing Duncan up with James, and literally just having a coal deliver contest is just so fun to watch. Especially, like, to the fact where James doesn't even realize that Duncan is just cheating his way through this. Like, Duncan just hiding the trucks. Like, yeah, I know that's cheating, but man, like you really do see that James is really trying here. But because he pulled like way too many trucks, he breaks down. And Duncan actually brings a truckload of coal for him. And it just ends, and it pretty much ends with the two characters together in the night. That's really cool. But yeah, other than that, I don't have much to say about this one, other than it's another really good Duncan episode. I mean, honestly, it's such a shame. It's honestly a shame that this and Duncan Drops the Clanger weren't as good as Duncan in the Old Mine. At least, in my opinion, but they were still really good Duncan episodes. And Duncan's Bluff was probably the better one in my opinion. 7 out of 10. Big, strong Henry. This episode really shows Henry at his best here. Like, I mean, yeah, it's not as good as, like, Henry in the Flagpole or something, but I honestly really like what they do with Henry in this episode. Like, he isn't trying to dominate himself by, strength, but in brains. Like, that is something I really cherish. Especially with the fact that Gordon has trouble with cows again. Which is something that's been relevant since... Actually, I meant to say... That hasn't even been relevant since... Gosh, Season 2. Wow. Another Season 2 reference I just found. But yeah, this episode was really good. The crash was great. Michael Brandon's narration was pretty good, as well as Michael Angelus's narration. And overall, it's just a really good episode. 8 out of 10. Like, yeah, the only 8 out of 10 on this list, but sadly there are no 9 out of 10s on this list, but there is a 10 out of 10 on this list. And that would be, if you have been watching up to now, Missing Trucks. Okay, let me explain. Now, I know Michael Brandon's voices for the characters are annoying, and I agree with that, but I really love what this episode does with Skarloey and Rheneas. Rheneas actually offers to help Skarloey after he gets exhausted. Like, that is something that really serious Rheneas would definitely do. Like, my god, this feels like a really serious story now to think of it. Okay, I don't think Audrey would like that, but I mean, I certainly would. I mean, honestly, the reason why I just love this is because to me, it just feels like something that could fit right into the Railway series. Like, Rheneas noticing that Skarloey is exhausted of his work and offers to help him without telling anyone. I mean, honestly, I can kind of understand, like, what even was the point of not telling anyone, but still, I can just overlook that as I can understand what Rheneas is trying to do. Like, help his friend, without really telling anyone. I mean, the way I would kind of rework it is Skarloey is kind of worn out. I feel it would kind of be similar to like saving Edward. Like, and I don't know if I'll go through with this, but I would have Skarloey be like worn out, and Rheneas would have to cover his duties. And Skarloey fears that that if he's wearing out, he can't be useful anymore. So Rheneas tries to hide it from everyone else and the Thin Controller to avoid losing his own friend. And honestly, that would have been so much better. But this is the hit era we're talking about. But, oh well. It's probably as good as it is. And honestly, if someone wants to do that story idea, I mean, go right ahead, but just credit me for the idea. But yeah, this episode is honestly my favorite of Season 10, and I really love what they do with Rheneas and Skarloey. Probably their best episode of the hit era. 10 out of 10. I really, really like this. I really like this episode. And that is my ranking list for Season 10. Oh, finally! Now, Season 10 is definitely the first bad season for me personally, but it does have its highs, like the ones I just mentioned. Like, Big Strong Henry, It's Good to Be Gordon, Missing Trucks, my favorite. But it's all overshadowed by all the lows. Like, Edward Strikes Out, Thomas's Frosty Friend, which is the worst in this case. And topped off Thomas, Wharf and Peace, The Green Controller, Flower Power. Sorry, I mean Follow That Flower. I'm getting confused with that episode now. With the Season 9 episode. That just happened before this one. But I mean, it's Season 10. It's the hit era. What do you expect? But yeah, I thank you all for watching this as always. And next time, we'll see if Season 11 improves upon this, or is worse. Bye-bye!